on the big telly. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. First, let me apologize for the technical glitch we had just a minute ago. Welcome to SP Live Show here on Solab TV. This is your girl, SP. So yes, like I was saying, welcome today. We are discussing this issue that is very dear to our heart, the challenges of raising children with traditional value in Britain. But when I say Britain, it's not just it doesn't rest at the shores of United Kingdom. This is a challenge that people are facing globally all over the world, and as I said earlier, I'm here with a special guest of honor, Holy. Holy, please can you introduce yourself one more time to our viewers?
Hi everyone, my name is Holy and I'm happy to be here today.
Okay, so like you all know, we are trying to raise children with traditional values, children who will be productive, who will be successful, who will be happy individuals, children who are our future. Our future depends on our children, the home and the community, and so on and so forth. And hence, there are so many challenges that is facing us these days in trying to bring up responsible, hardworking children into adulthood. And the issue that we're going to be discussing are the challenges that parents face, the challenges that children who go through this phase, the challenges that society is facing because of this. And we've been discussing this for the past 3 weeks now with call-ins, with a guest speaker, with people contributing their experiences, the challenges they face, advices, what they've gone through, and so on and so forth. And I've learned. I'm a parent, and I've learned, in these 3 weeks that we've been discussing this issue. Right now, let's hear from a young lady who is growing up amidst all this storm, amidst all these challenges. Let's hear what she's got to say, her contribution, how she's been going through it. Holy, is it possible to just share with us your experience of growing up with the traditional values in UK, the challenges of trying to, create harmony between two cultures?
Well, it's I don't know, in my experience it hasn't been very difficult. I think sometimes no. Specific question. I don't know. What exactly do you want to know?
Well, what I want to know is what are your experience? You've been brought up in traditional values here in the United Kingdom. Just share your experiences. Anything, how has it been? What does it feel like trying to live within two cultures? Because your family came from Nigeria, right?
Yes.
Okay. What are the challenges of trying to live a British life in a traditional Nigerian home? What are the challenges? What are you going through, or what have you gone through? What have you seen? What have you experienced? Any?
Well, I guess before I said it hasn't been hard. It actually has.
Truth be said.
Finding a balance between the way that our parents want us to be raised and the way that we see, or the way that we're kind of taught or told in school. I don't know, because there's a lot of things that are similar, like having respect for your elders and things like that. But personally, I guess there are some aspects of the traditional culture that I haven't really been able to accept.
For example, just share the light.
I don't know, and I don't know. It's like there's nothing really major. It's just small things that I'm kind of like, I can't think of anything right now.
Small things you're struggling with to deal with, to amalgamate, to mix together with the traditional, English values and so on and so forth?
Yeah, and
For example, the culture. Are you, let's say, wearing your traditional clothes? If at your age, if your parent made some traditional clothes for you, would you happily wear them and go to a Nigerian party and things like that?
well, at this age, so at 23, yes, but it depends on the style. Maybe when I was younger, no. And I think it's because maybe growing up, or like, and this is my experience, I can't really speak for everyone, but for me personally, let's say like in school and things like that, African culture is kind of looked down on, like the whole concept of being from Africa. And so I feel like a lot of people maybe can, that are kind of in my shoes, can kind of relate. So when we were younger, you kind of wanted to adopt a different culture because people, and like in the media and everything, it's kind of, Africa's kind of looked down on. And so back when I was younger and stupid and you want to fit in and everyone and be cool with everyone, maybe things like with the native wear and traditional clothing, maybe I wouldn't have wanted to wear it because it wasn't cool or things like that. But now I wear it if it looks good. Like I have to choose the design and it has to, but yeah, maybe, yeah, maybe.
What about other examples? For example, children who were brought up back home, they have really, they're grounded in the way they respect their elders. For example, a child would probably prostrate in order to say hello, good morning, hi to an elder. This is something that is very natural to people, children that are growing up back home. But children growing up here, that is non-existent. Well, to a few of them. How do you see that?
Sorry.
I mean, the way you say hello to your elder, our traditional way of saying hello to elder. Do you think there's a conflict between that and the way your traditional, your English values are? What are they?
No, I mean, I understand. Again, it's respect, having respect. I think sometimes it can be taken a bit too far, and I think sometimes maybe people make it, like if I forget to say good morning, it becomes too much of a deal, too bigger of a deal than it actually is. And then, yeah, I think maybe it's not that, like, I don't understand, or it's not that, like, I don't agree. Yeah, I mean, you say good morning to everyone, but at the same time, if I don't say good morning, I don't think it's that big of an issue. And I think a lot of the times, maybe that's it. We or I, when it comes to things like that, I don't really, see it as that big of a deal. Okay, so like in our house, there's always this big debate about washing the plates. I don't know, but and it's okay. Maybe that's not really a good.
It is. It's part of the traditional values.
Okay.
Yes.
So we have. Okay, you explain.
No, you tell me. What is your feeling? Because as you said, we're trying to raise children in traditional values, and there are certain things that in our traditional, when the way I was brought up, for example, you brought up washing dishes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. My mother back home would not tell me to go and wash dishes. I will automatically go and wash dishes without being told. Mm-hmm. And I don't see it as chores. Mm-hmm. And I, wash dishes, sweeping the house, tidying up, doing everything that I do. I don't see them as chores. Mm-hmm. It has been inoculated in me that this is something that I have to do. That is my duty. Mm-hmm. I keep harmony in the home by it. I respect my elders by it, and I get blessings from doing them. However, in your in the British in the European upbringing, you see that as chores, and there has to be all this, like you said, a big debate about washing plates. What do you think?
Well, I think it definitely is chores, but I think again, like okay, I'll do it, but I feel like if it's not done on my eldest time schedule, that's when it becomes an issue. If I don't do it when they want me to do it, or maybe they've gone and seen that there's 2 plates in the sink, and then it becomes a big issue of we don't ever wash the plates, and it's really not that big. I think a lot of the times, okay, maybe yeah, I don't know. A lot of the times, big deals are made out of things because in Nigeria, and the way you guys were brought up, you know, I don't know. Maybe it was a big deal. But
it is a big deal.
I don't really see it as
a big deal.
Much of an issue.
They say respect is earned small. Yeah, a little here, a little there, and it grows. So the way you respect the things that your elders tell you, the way you respect the things, the way they're brought up, and so on and so forth, your respect kind of grows between your home, between your elders, and the way you learn, and so on and so forth. Fine, as a child, a lot of people don't see it as a big issue, but that is it. That is what is about. That's what this is about: raising children with traditional values in modern day Britain. We have this for us is traditional values.
Well, maybe there's another thing, because you're talking about respect to it, and I think again, maybe the way you see respect and the ways you demonstrate it is different to the ways that I feel like I'm demonstrating respect, and it's finding that balance and compromise, and trying me displaying more of what you feel is respect to. I don't know, someone once told me actually to do this, because I've spoken about this with a lot of my friends, and they said if African parents wanted their children to have more African values, they would have raised us in Africa. That's it. If you want us to have those traditional values, then you would have raised us in that, let's, because I'm from Nigeria, I'm going to say Nigeria, but when African parents come here and they have their children here and they raise them here, I don't think there's a compromise. I feel like you bring us here, and then you come here, and then you but you still want to do things the way it was over there. And I think there needs to be a compromise, because it becomes hard for us, because we're brought up with the traditional values, and then we leave, we go to school, and then we see all these different things in the country that we're born. I mean, some people have the privilege of going back and living in their home countries, and it's easier for them to see and understand. But for me, that has never been to Nigeria. I guess it's hard to kind of find the middle ground and still be myself, and because there are things that I think are right, and there are ways that I think things that should be done in ways, and sometimes they may conflict with the traditional way. Not all the time, but sometimes there's a little bit of a conflict in it because of the things that I've been taught outside of the home. But I mean, I do take the things I've learned in the home and adopt it into my general outlook on things. I don't know.
No, you're making a lot of sense, because to be honest, a lot of children would probably be saying the same thing you're saying. Everybody's going to have different experience. A lot of the children perhaps think that African parents are harsh in some outlook, and so on and so forth. However, like you said, we come from different walks of life, different country, and then we want to bring our children up here in the same traditional values that we were brought up perhaps back home, or some of us that were brought up back home. But is there anything wrong in trying to bring your children up, in trying to pass down your culture to your children?
I don't think there's anything wrong, but I think you have to be able to compromise. You have to be able to, okay, yes, you want them to have those values, but at the same time you came to this country, so you have to be able to adopt to this country as well, and the things that they teach, and compromise and put them and create something that will be easy for them. Because if you're doing something one way in the home, and not all children I mean, not everyone's like me, and I'm not saying I'm not far from the perfect example, but not everyone will be able to find the middle ground and try and incorporate both. Either they're going to pick one or the other. They're going to pick Britain or they're going to pick Nigeria. And I can see why a lot of people would pick Britain, because, you know, this is where they're from, this is what they know, this is what, when they go outside, when they become their own person, this is what they're going to be in. Like in the work environment, everything it's going to be in a British style, and so it's easier to adopt the British values if they decide like it's going to be one or the other. And it's also like what we see as well as being like, when we see success and things like that, we see maybe the ideas of the West more than the traditional, and so, you know, you adopt, I don't know.
Well, you just said it, you see the success looks like the West to you. However, do you know that a lot of success are from people, a lot of foreigners here hold a lot of the position, a lot of the jobs, and a lot of the, say for example, if you go to the NHS, most of the high position in the NHS in terms of consultants and so on and so forth, they're all foreigners. Do you know that? Why you see success? Why do you have to see success as the West? Why don't you see the whole picture?
Because that's what we're shown.
That's what you're shown, absolutely. But if that is what you're shown, does that then mean that we can't try to show you the whole picture? Because what we're trying to do is show you the whole picture.
Yeah, you can, but it's up to the individual what they choose to receive.
Okay. Very, very good. Very well. Let's see. Example. You've given quite a few. Said quite a few things. How about looking at those two cultures, the conflict between two cultures? What has made you remain grounded? You know, how have you moved on? How have you managed to find harmony? You know, in the two cultures, so that you don't perhaps get involved with all the issues that is plaguing London, and not just London, all over the world, where children have been raised up, for example, gang violence, drugs, teenage pregnancies. What has kept you grounded, you know, as a child being raised in these difficult times with all the challenges that goes with raising children, you know, with traditional values?
I think, again, it's up to the individual, so everyone is different. But for me personally, a big thing that has kept me away from maybe some of the issues that other people my age are facing is church. And so having that one, a belief in God and just faith and things like that, but also I don't know. I think I don't know, when I was in secondary school, I just didn't have an interest. And maybe it depends on your friend groups and the people that you hang around with and all those different things. But definitely, I would say the upbringing of my parents and choosing to want to accept parts of it that I think are great.
Parts of it that.
Parts that I think are good. And yeah, I don't know. I think in terms of things that are issues in London, so gang violence, drugs, and all of that, I think it just depends on the individual's conviction and what they want out of their lives. And yeah.
Well, they want how to. Do you think sometimes it's a choice? Do you think that the children have a choice? Do you think there's a lot of peer pressures? Do you think like they've succumbed to those kind of challenges and so on and so forth?
There's definitely peer pressure, but again, it's up to that person's conviction. If that person is, if they're smart, they won't go down a certain path. If they're not smart, they will. And so.
And do you think that the upbringing, the way they've been raised at home, maybe respect for culture, respect for tradition, respect for family, parents, do you think that has any part to play in them with all this pressure and them not succumbing to those pressure?
It definitely has a part to play. I think that when they, definitely the upbringing has a part to play. But I think also when those kids go outside, you can be living a different life in the home than you can living outside the home, and so it's just up to individuals to make that choice.
Interesting. Let's just take a minute here to say hello to our viewers. Let's see who's online with us. Hi, Benjamin. Hi, Vincent. Hi, Ruta. Constantine. Salami. Hi, Florentine. Ula. Hi, Enoch. Hi. Hi, Victor. Rahina. Elizabeth. Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, Thomas. Hi, Ayobami Freeman. Hi, everybody. Hi, Constantine. Hi, Valentine. Hi, Godwin. Oche. Hi, Chanel. Mary. Yade. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We're very, very pleased that you're watching with us, that you've joined us as we're discussing. I'm here with my guest, Holly, discussing the challenges of raising children here in Britain with traditional values. And when I say Britain, it doesn't rest on the shore of Great Britain. It is also the challenges that the whole world is facing. Children are the future, and as children are our future, we really need to be very honest and very careful and very wise in the way we raise our children, because if we get it wrong, then we get our future is what do I say? The future is bleak. So we want to be raising our children to be respectful, hardworking, honest, happy, fulfilling adults that will be contributing to their community positively. That is the only way the society will survive. There's a lot of challenges that is plaguing our community, that is plaguing the world, and I feel that the home makes a community. For the community to be strong, for a community to be successful, it starts in the home. And the challenges that we face at home in raising our children, bringing them to honest working individuals in the community, need to be discussed, because there's a lot of challenges plaguing us. And as you can see, I'm here with a special guest, Holly, who is shedding light to how she has seen it as a child who's been raised in this in this challenging times with traditional values. She's sharing her experience, and we would like you to call in with your experience, are you a parent raising children in these difficult times? Are you a child who's been raised in these difficult times? Are you a single parent? Are you what are the challenges that you're facing? Do you want to share your experience with us? The number to call are right there on the screen for you. You can call us on +44 7399 343 199, and the other number is +44 7440 721 474. You can call us to share your experience, to share your opinion. Maybe you have advice for our parents, maybe you have advice for the children, and maybe it's you who is going through it. You want to learn, you have a question, difficulties you're facing, and you want to hear people discuss it, hear us discuss it. You're welcome to call in. You're also welcome to text in as well. Text us your questions, and we will raise it here and discuss it. You're also welcome to contact me on WhatsApp on my private number, which is 0739 200 4676. That's my private number. You can WhatsApp on that private number, 0739 200 4676. And we go back to our discussion. So Holy, once again, thank you for coming to share a light with us in terms of your upbringing, your experience as a child who's been raised, with traditional value in modern day Britain, which is a problem, which is the issue that we're trying to deal with, because a lot of parents are going through the same issue. So as we come back, just another question that I'd really like to put to you and see, if you can share with our viewers out there, how you feel, what you see. How do you think social media affects the way you are being brought up in the Western society? What are the challenges? How does social media affect you or your experience? Because to be honest, your experience could be the experience of millions of children out there. So you share. How does it affect you?
Well, I think definitely social media plays a huge part because it conflicts. Well, social media, the things that we see on social media, they do conflict with the teachings that we're taught, with the way that our parents teach us that we should live. So if you look at influencers and all the celebrities, the lives that they're living, that they put out, and that a lot of people want to emulate and follow because it looks fun. It's a different life than what our parents, what they want us to live, and the values that they've given us is very different to, or the values that they want to instill in us and want us to live by are very different from what we see from people who seem to be successful and seem to have their lives are like perfect and everything. And so I think for a lot of young impressionable people, and I think it's going to get a lot harder the way that social media, because when I was in secondary school, we didn't have Instagram. There was Facebook, but there was no Instagram. There was other things like MySpace and Bieber, but it wasn't very easy to see the way that these people were living, people that have a lot were living. And so it was just kind of what you saw with your friends, and a lot of your friends have the same experiences as with you, and so you just discuss and talk about it. But now a lot of young people in school, everyone's got an iPhone and everyone can access Instagram and Twitter and Facebook anywhere they want, and you see all these celebrities and doing all these cool things, and these are young impressionable children, and they want to be like what they see, right? And so that's why maybe now I think it's going to get a lot harder, because that is what's cool, that is what is
acceptable.
That's what they see that being rude and being disrespectful and all of those things are making those people money, and they seem to be happy. And so I guess a lot of kids now, it's the norm to be like that and to be disrespectful in a way. I don't know. There's a whole new attitude out. I don't know. There's a new outlook that the young people are adapting and adopting in their lives, because they don't want to be seen as weak, maybe.
Interesting. So what is cool, what is acceptable from celebrities and so on and so forth, that is not real. That's what it is. It's not real. So a lot of children are accepting what is not real and dumping what is real, because to be honest, what you see on social media or on magazines and so on and so forth, those have been edited and polished and so on and so forth, unlike what is the real life, which is your day-to-day life, what you see. And as you said, it's going to get harder because now social media conventions, everybody can see anything, anywhere, anytime. That people have access to it every time. Yeah, so it's going to get harder because would you say it's making a lot of people lazy and not hardworking?
No, I don't think so. I think it it kind of has made people want more. Like, I think because there's always the good and the bad, and I think social media has, I've seen it give a drive to people who maybe a couple years ago, or like 10 years ago, or maybe certain things weren't acceptable, certain ways of living were not acceptable, but because of social media, some people have seen how other people have become successful, maybe doing unconventional things, and so that has maybe given people more of a drive to be unconventional, and they are able to be successful. But at the same time, maybe it has made people lazy because of the time spent on social media doing things that are very unproductive.
Well, would you say so? Then I'm gonna go back to something you said a bit earlier about what the way your traditional value don't seem to be cool because of the way Africa has been portrayed. Then would you say then that it's very important that we try and get it right by portraying the true Africa on social media, or in trying to show our children the true Africa, so that you know you are proud of who you are, proud of where you're from, and proud of your culture, and know that your culture actually is precious. So what do you say?
Well, I think definitely more now than before, Africa is being shown in a new light because of social media. We're able to see the good sides of it, and I think so. That was before Africa wasn't really cool. Hence why a lot of people would adopt like more of Britain than that. But now I think it is quite different, and I mean, it's never going to be. No, I think it just depends on the person, on the way someone perceives what they see and the way that they receive it. I think definitely more we should be able to show the positives of being African. So different things like natural hair and, all of that, like in the media, or, not Eurocentric, but the European standard of, like, okay, let's say the standard of beauty. It's like straight hair, fair skin, and that's completely different to what we are. But a lot of people now are embracing like natural hair in their skin and their features and all those different things because of social media. It's a lot easier for other impressionable young, let's say African born in Western society youth to see that, which is making a lot of more people more confident in themselves, whereas before it wasn't really like that. Like everyone had a perm and everyone would do all these different things, and so I think it's happening that the perception of Africa is definitely changing now. But yeah, more would be great.
I want to bring something up. Before doing that, I just want to take a few minutes to say hello to all the people that's joined us, people that I haven't seen before. Hi, Dozier. Hi, MC Ifoma. Hi. There's a name here who I think is Arabic. I can't pronounce the name, but you know who you are. Thanks for joining us. Everybody who's joined us, thank you for joining us. If you have a comment, if you have an experience, perhaps you're a parent raising children in these difficult times, perhaps you're facing challenges trying to teach your children traditional values in modern day Britain. Not just Britain, it's happening all over the world. people are finding it difficult to raise their children with the traditional values in wherever they are. If you are not sure what we're talking about in terms of traditional values, we're talking about raising your children with the same values from that you came from where you came from, the same values your parents inoculated in you, the same values their parents gave to them, that values that's been passed down from generation to generation to generation. What is the challenges of trying to teach those same values to your children so that your children can be happy, successful, productive, a positive contributor to their community? What are the challenges that you're facing? We know that a lot of challenges are there. It could be family breakup, it could be gang violence, it could be peer pressure, social media. There's just so many challenges, so many things stopping us from raising our children with traditional values. So thank you. And as you know, I'm here with our guest, Holly. Holly has been sharing her experience as as one of the child who's been brought up in England with traditional values, sharing a light to how she's gone through it and so on and so forth. And she's shared a light to what has kept her grounded, how she's found harmony between those two cultures and so on and so forth. Holly's experience, I'm sure, is not isolated. Her experience is probably similar to the experience of millions of children out there, because millions of children who's gone through the same thing, who's going through the same things. So perhaps other people will learn from her experience. Perhaps some parents will learn from some of the things she said. Maybe we can put that into consideration in terms of how we're trying to bring up our children in terms of finding harmony between cultures. You said something about us coming from our tradition, our home, our country, and trying to raise our children here. And we're not trying to replace the culture of the British Isle. Yeah. However, we're trying to pass down cultures, which is our culture, our tradition, our what do we say? Our wisdom, the wisdom that has been passed down from generation to generation to generation to our children. We feel that things like that will make our children successful. It will make them happy. It will make them more productive in the society. It will give them a better life, and so on and so forth. What do you say?
Okay, if I can speak candidly.
Speak candidly.
One thing that I have actually noticed is that I think a lot of African parents who are raising children in Western societies, I think a lot of them have the ideal that the values that they were taught in Africa are the most correct. And I think that they think that the things that we're learning here are rubbish. And so that is where maybe some more conflict comes in, because me personally, I think I said it before, but there are some things that I cannot understand.
For example?
Well, when you ask, for example, I don't remember. It's like when you're in the moment and maybe someone is telling you something and you're like, but that doesn't, I don't understand why. Like, it's not really...
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. And a lot of African parents, they feel and they believe, I mean, I'm not sure, but this is my perception of it. They believe that their values are 100% correct. And that, if I live this way, this is the only way that I'm going to be happy if I adopt 100% of these African values. But me personally, I think there's the good and bad in everything. Maybe some things can be seen. Okay, I have one thing that I don't like, and that of course there are things that I plan to pass down to my future family, but there are definitely ask you that question. Yes, that I am going to eliminate forever.
Just share with our viewers one thing that you feel is part of African traditional values that you feel doesn't sit well, or is outdated in the modern day Britain, that you should maybe modify it or shouldn't pass it down, or what name one example.
I think so, for example, it's hard to explain. If I, okay, for example, if there's an elder and I don't know. I don't know. Sorry, just give me 1 second to collect to put this in the most respectful way.
Okay, we are giving you.
Something that I don't think I am going to adopt in my way of upbringing, and it might be small, like it's a small thing, but maybe to me it's just something that personally I don't like, and so no, because it's gonna sound so immature.
No, it's not, because this is about it's about the whole society. It's about trying to understand, to have a common ground, in a way to raise our children, because we want our children to be happy and we want them to be successful, and all the challenges that they're facing, we need to somebody mentioned that we have to have a friendship with our children. We need to understand them. We need to understand the pressures that they're going through. That's the only way that we can move forward. And if there are things that you feel could help that, then share it. Nothing, no point, no experience is immature or pointless, or is a learning curve for both parents and children, because like I said, no parenthood came with a parent booklet, skills. There's no booklet like that. You learn as you go along. So that learning curve is happening right here, right now.
Okay, so I definitely, so I'll talk with what I would like to adopt. Definitely the whole aspect of respecting your elders. I think it's a general concept that's taught throughout all cultures, no matter where you're born, Africa, England. Respect is always very important, but I think sometimes it can no, maybe not that. Maybe, I'm so sorry. I'm not going to, or something that I personally don't agree with in terms of the traditional values is, no.
While you collect your mind, I just want to say hello to people watching, those of you who has joined us. Hello Nadia, hello Clive. Nadia is another young lady, very nice, beautiful young lady who I know, who has been raised in this this challenging times, and Nadia is doing very well. She's working really hard and has come into herself, and I'm very, very proud every time I see how she has progressed and what she's doing and how much she's achieved. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us, all of you who are watching. We appreciate you watching, and we would like if you can call in and share your experience. Call in, text in, and share your experience. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a like. Share share the live broadcast with your family and friends. Because we are in a very challenging times. The topic we're discussing, the challenges of raising children with traditional value in Britain, modern day Britain. And like I said, I always make this point that this is not just limited to the British shores, because these challenges is being faced by parents and children across the world. It's not just limited to modern day Britain. It is something that people all over the world is facing. The challenges in England might be a bit different from the challenges in Nigeria. It might be a little bit different from the challenges in India. It might be a little bit different from the challenges in Spain or in America. But parents out there are facing a lot of challenges trying to raise their children up with traditional values, and children are facing a lot of challenges trying to grow up in these challenging times with a lot of pressure out there. The children are facing so much difficulty trying to find harmony between two competing cultures. And what we're trying to do here is to try to find a common ground where we can raise our children up with traditional values, and also help them grow up in where they're growing up, beautiful, hardworking, happy, successful, productive individuals, because children are the future. If we don't get it right, then our future is, we don't have a future. Future is in the home. Our children is in the home, and if we can get it right in the home, then our community will get it right. If we fail to get it right in the home and the community, then our future is bleak. And that is why we're discussing this issue and trying to shed light and bring you experience from people who have been raised in these challenging times. Also bring you experience from people who work with children, as well as in the coming time, we will be hopefully bringing you expert advice, perhaps from the social services and people who work with children and so on and so forth. And back again, we are here. I'm here with your very beautiful Holly, who's been trying to shed light into her upbringing, her experience as a child who's been brought up in these difficult times. So yes, back to you, Holly.
Do you know, you just said something about wanting to get it right, and raising children here and making sure you get it right. I think maybe there is, but I don't think there is a right, like there's a specific right way. Parents, they have only so much control, but ultimately it all depends and relies on the child, that child's personality, the type of person that child is, and what they want for themselves. I think you can try your best to teach them the right way, and don't I mean, if you moved to a Western society from you need to be able to incorporate that into the way you're upbringing, because if you don't, and you keep telling the child, like, if the child does something that is not the way things are done in Nigeria, you say, oh, this country is making you weak, or this country has done this, or this country and this country and this country. That's the country that child lives in. That's the country the child was raised in. And as much as you've taught them, that's what they know. They've gone out, when they're in school, when they're in the workplace, this is what they are surrounded with. And so I think it's important that African parents or parents who came from different societies, different countries, are able to adopt the teachings and the values of the society that they now live in, the society that they're raising their children in, not completely disregard where they came from and what they were raised with, but incorporate. And again, there's no perfect way, and we don't expect, we know that it's always going to be like it's a process, right? It's trial and error. That's what it is. But I think it's important that, I don't know if I just sum it myself up, it's important that parents are not too overbearing with the traditional side, because we're not in that place. This is England, and you chose, again, like I said, you know, if you chose to come here, if you wanted to raise us with those values, you should have raised us there. But
that's very
but we understand the importance and of the values, and we see the good in it. We understand, and out of respect we will follow, but we also need to be able to create our own, or we will create our own. Sometimes when parents are too much with the traditional, I've heard someone say that those parents are toxic for their children. If they're pushing too much of and they're not accepting where they live, it can become confusing for the child with the media and friends and everything that they see when they're outside. It can become too much for for kids, and that's when they start to rebel, and they're like, well, I don't want to do that, I don't want to do this, and they want to do their own thing, and I don't know, I don't really know what peer pressure and all of that, what makes children go way off the spectrum. But when parents are too overbearing and too forceful with their, I don't know, when they become like dictators.
So some parents are dictators.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
I think some parents can be again, it's just my way is the correct way. This way that I was brought up is the most correct way of anything. This country you're living in, whatever they're teaching you is useless. My way is, and I think that is wrong.
My way or the highway.
Yeah. I think they should be able to incorporate the two and make something to make it easier for the child.
Well, you're hearing it from the very mouth of our guest here, Holly, who has been raised, because she's still a child, well, a young adult, being raised with traditional value in modern day Britain. You've heard it, that some parents could be dictator. We as a parent could be overbearing, and then so they are, saying that we as parents who've left our homes and so on and so forth, and migrated to Britain or to wherever you are right now, bringing your children up, which is not the traditional, which is not the original, your original home country, and you're trying to raise your children within 2 or even 3 or 4 challenging cultures, because there is your culture, there is the culture of where you're living, there are the cultures from their friends. There's so many different things happening out there. If you are one of those parents who is going through these challenges, one of the young people here is telling us that we need to be able to understand. We need to be able to understand the pressure that children are going through. We need to be able to try and learn to be able to bring a harmony between the two cultures, because ultimately where the children are being brought up, that is their home. Where they're being brought up, it matters a lot to them how they mix those two cultures. It matters a lot how we try to bridge the gap, how we try to inoculate our traditional values with the current culture where they've been brought up. It does matter to them that we're not we're dictatorial. You would say that we're not overbearing and so on and so forth. It matters to them that we understand them. We understand your feelings and your society and everything that you have to go through in your society and so on and so forth. It matters to them. So parents, you're hearing it. Young ones, you're hearing it. I still say that the challenges that we're facing is very, very, we're facing great challenge. It is very, very visible, very visible challenges, very difficult challenges, very, how would I say it? Challenging challenges. If I can use that word, challenging challenges. Like I said, our children are the future, and if we raise them right, then we get the future right. If we raise them wrong, then the future is bleak. And it all starts from the home. It all starts from the home, then the community, and then the society. And the idea is that we want to raise our children up with traditional values, but we don't want to be overbearing with our traditional values. Coming from one of our young persons here, trying to tell us that we can raise our children with traditional values, but to be mindful, of the society that we've been raising children in. Okay, we have a caller. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hi, who's on the line?
It's Matthew on the line.
Hello, Matthew. How are you?
I'm good today. Thanks.
Yeah, Matthew, have you been listening to our conversation?
Yeah, I've been listening.
Okay. So yeah, you've heard what we have a guest here, Holly, and Holly has been sharing her experience as a child being raised in this in modern day Britain with traditional values and so on and so forth. Have you been listening to the experience that Holly has been sharing and what she thinks and so on and so forth?
Yes, I've been listening to her, experience and opinions and point of views. Hi, Holly.
Hi.
Um, yes, I totally agree in most of the things that she has shared today.
Mm.
In terms of parents also trying their, making sure that they they adapt to the society, where they live today.
Mm.
As much as we want to inculcate or bring up our children in an African traditional way, we shouldn't forget that we're no longer living in Africa.
Mm.
We live in a different society. Should I even say advanced?
Advanced.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, yeah. So it's there's also a phrase that says that when you're in Rome,
Mm.
you do as the Romans do.
Interesting. That is a very a very very important quote. What you just said now. When you're in Rome, you have to be like the Romans.
You have to be like the Romans, otherwise, the two would always conflict. Your opinion or your way of upbringing, the way you were disciplined as a child, and the way you want to discipline a child born in this country, that would seriously conflict. Is not going to work. So, what I'm trying to say is that is good that parents mix it, and also using the same word, not overbearing. Don't go overboard with your own opinion or try to impose, your own way of African tradition or Africa way of upbringing, on the children born here, because they go out and mix up with children that their parents was actually born here and have their own traditions, and then they go out there, and then that's most of the time that is where they even learn from the most, from the outsiders, because most of the time kids most kids always learn from other kids. Is one thing, they learn faster from other kids than they learn from their parents. Now we want to teach a child how to speak or how to talk and all that, but they might not learn that fast from you. But if they start mixing with other kids, before you know what's happening, they're already doing that. Because they learn so fast from other kids. They learn quick when they're with other kids. So it's important that as parents, you try to go along with, not just go along with the way the children want to be raised, but go along with the way the society is designed.
Yes.
But in the same way,
that
doesn't mean you should not discipline your child or correct your child when the child is going the other way around. Going the other way, making mistake.
Matthew.
Yes.
Matthew.
Yes.
Matthew, hold on the line 1 minute. Holly want to say something. I think something came to mind, and just hold on the line, because maybe as you're making a comment right now, maybe something came to mind and she would like to maybe raise that. Yeah, go on, Holly.
All right.
So just as you're talking, I just thought of it, but maybe a lot of also one of the issues is that so being born here, so I don't know whether you're Black British, or we're going to talk about England just because it's what I know. Black British, or if you're you know, I don't know, British Asian or whatever you are, you know, being born here with traditional parents. I think a lot of us are trying to find that culture. So I'm going to say Black British because that's kind of what I'm classed as here is Black British, and develop. I think a lot of the Black British culture that has been developed is it's somewhat adopted from the traditional values that we've all been taught, but also mixed in with the English values. And I think that had I always lose my train of thought when I'm talking, but I think we're still trying to create that culture, the Black British culture, and a lot of it is like maybe some of the issues that we see here, so like gang violence and all of that. That's all embedded into what a lot of the young people here in England are adopting into their lives, but I don't know.
So basically, let me try to get this right. So there isn't a proper Black British culture.
Yeah.
So what you're trying to say is that because we're now settled in Britain, so let's use Britain as an example, like you say, we're Black British, because this is what we are. This is where we have to have a culture which comprises our traditional value plus the British value that makes the Black British culture. Instead of just trying to say that, oh, one culture is the best. We need to create a harmony and create the Black British culture. And for as of now, there isn't anything that we can say this is Black British culture. I get what you're trying to say. Absolutely. Matthew, are you still online?
Yes. Just what Holly just mentioned. Out there's multicultural, things going on. Like there's people from all sorts of background, living in this, living in London, metropolitan city. So it's really, really difficult, bringing up kids and then wanting them to just live the way you want them to, or to live, or the way you've been trying your best to implant in them the culture you've been trying to implant or inculcate in them, because it's hard. There's Indians out there, Pakistanians out there, there's Nigerian, the Ghanaians, Sierra Leoneans, so many cultures out there. So many culture out there. So it's really, really difficult. But regardless of all that, as a parent, we are, as African parents, we should also try our best to teach our children our language.
Okay, there's a caller. Hello.
Yeah, so
Matthew, hold on 1 minute.
Yes.
All right. Carry on. There was a caller that come in, but the phone has dropped. Carry on, Matthew. We're listening.
Yes. So basically, it's important that we try as much as possible to share with our children, because our language is our knowledge, is knowledge, is something, and come to understand that someone that you share the same language with, there's a language that you understand better, mostly like your the language, your mother's tongue. The someone you share that language with, the relationship is always different. So just because you know how to speak English doesn't mean that you try and bring up your children with just English. It's good that you try to teach them, not from from the beginning, from the foundation. Try to teach them, because by the time they go to school, it will be hard for them to learn that language. And then if you want to teach them, it's hard if you start mixing it up most of the time. So them having a language would help them to also have a backbone, have a background, knowing that where they're coming from, and they'll become proud of who they are and proud of where originally they come from. It helps. The language really, really helps.
Absolutely.
I agree.
You agree as well? Absolutely.
It gives them that sense of identity.
Yes, that's true.
Language is important. Sense of identity.
It is very, very important. I've been out there and I see parents struggling to communicate with their children in English language, and it's so it's so shameful that it's like they don't even realize that those children speak better English than them, and then they find the way they even speak the English a bit funny, because like the accent. So if you're speaking your language, they wouldn't find it funny. They would find it serious.
Interesting.
You see that?
Yeah, just Matthew, hold on there. Just hold the line, because what you just said now is because when we are off air, this discussion carries on, and there's a point that a friend of a colleague of mine made while we were carrying on the discussion. A friend of mine raised the point. She said, with traditional values, she remembers when she was growing up that grandparents or parents, they would teach their children. They would sit down maybe around the fire and teach their children about their cultures. Parents are teaching their children how to crochet, which is passed down to their passed down from the grandparents. They're teaching their children how to cook. A child will sit by the sit down by the parent's leg, massaging the parent's leg while they're learning the culture, while the parents pass down culture to them. It's not about the massage, but the submissive sitting down beside your parents' leg and just listening to them. It gives you wisdom, pass down wisdom, sitting down, telling them stories, folk stories about where you come from, or so on and so forth. It says all those values were taught to them. Those are the way they were brought up, but that don't seem to be happening these days. He says things like that are dying out. Why are they dying out? He says because she can see that those kind of upbringing grounded her in her way of life and made her who she is today. But however, she didn't give the same she doesn't have the same opportunity with her children or the friends that she knows. They don't have the same kind of they didn't have the same kind of experience. Are we drifting apart from our parents, our children, because of these modern day values? What do you think?
What was the question?
Are we drifting apart? All this for what she raised, the fact that this kind of bonding time brought them together, gave them respect for elder, gave them and they learn the culture, they learn the languages, and so on and so forth. From those kind of those activities that they did as their children with their parents, and so on and so forth, and grandparents. These days people don't even respect their grandparents. Are we drifting apart? You think this modern day tradition, modern day cultures they're drifting the family apart, and so on and so forth?
I don't think so. I think if I talk for myself, so things like that where let's say like your interpretation of what family time used to be. So so you're talking about your colleague, she said, like if they're cooking together or crocheting together or things like that. Yeah, I mean, we can still, I think they still happen, but I don't know. It's kind of hard because it's weird.
Do people have time? Do they have time for things like that?
I think I think maybe it's more of that, just seeing as an aspect of like I don't have time for that. Or maybe it's just like it's not
cool. It's not cool anymore.
Yeah, to be doing those things with your, I mean, yes, family time is good and bonding and all of that stuff. Yes, I agree with it, that you should be able to have that time to learn from your parents, but sometimes it can be seen as an inconvenience. Maybe the things that your parents want you to do, you don't really want to do. Maybe there's other things that you're interested in or things that you would like, but to them it's not okay or not ideal, and they want to, they did it this way, so we have to do it this way, whereas I'm not interested in that, I'm interested in this, so why can't we try something else? But I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Absolutely, makes a lot of sense. Matthew, are you still online?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. Do you have anything to say about that what we just said now? Family time. What do you think? Families are breaking apart. Do you think we're finding it difficult to raise our children to give them those traditional family values because there is no family time and so on and so forth?
Well, just the phrase that says that family that prays together stays together. So in this very topic, so what we'll be looking at is that the family that share, special time together, bonds, and bonds that never, that can never be broken, is a bond that whereby, we all sit down, like what, if it's something that people usually do only Christmas or New Year time, but it shouldn't just be only once a year. It should be something that should be done every other time, every other day. Have a family night, have a family gathering, family doing things together, So this is a way to keep family together and keep children, good, and also just because I'm going now to the social media and everything that relates to social media, just as Holly mentioned earlier about young people wanting to emulate, live their lives like the celebrities, which because they are young people. That's what that's the word for them. The life that the celebrity lives is not their real life. They are actors and actresses out there. They're in the social media. That is their work. That is like their office. They're there to just make money. That is not how they live when they're indoor. That is not how they live when they're with their family. So young people should try as much as possible to differentiate, reality and fiction. You know, the life that the celebrity lives is just you know, a fable. It's just a fiction. It's not real. It's like a dream. You wake up and that's it. It's gone.
Absolutely.
You know. So it's good that as a parent, you keep doing your best. Never ever give up.
Absolutely.
It's not going to be easy.
Absolutely.
You know, raising children in this society. You know, but don't give up. Try as much as possible to keep supporting them. You know, instead of you, as Holly also mentioned, try to be too strict. If it's not my way, then you know, then is
My
never
way or the highway.
yeah. So instead of that, try to compromise sometimes. Try to sit down with them and have a conversation. Try to understand why you behaving this way. You know, what's the problem? You know, don't just keep talking. Try to let them share. Try to let them, you know, open up to you to see why they are behaving or why they are the way they are, and try to let them understand that those children out there, you know, they are there for themselves, but you are my child, and this is what I want for you for the future.
Yes.
Try to let them know that what you're doing, you're not trying to kill them, you're not trying to destroy their life, but you're trying to build, you know, a good, solid future for them. And not just once. You have to keep hammering that. It's like we know that God exists.
Yes.
And then if you do good, you go to heaven. But we still go to church every Sunday. You see? So for that, we have to keep, you know, trying as much as possible to help our children, you know, with their future.
Hold that thought, Matthew. Hold that thought. I'll come back to you in a minute. Just give me a minute. Let me just use this 1 minute or so to say hello to our viewers, those of you who've joined us. Thank you, everybody who's joined us, who's watching. We're grateful that you joined us. As we discuss the challenges of raising children with traditional value in modern day Britain. Modern day Britain, as I say, is not just rested to the shores of United Kingdom, to the shores of Great Britain. This is issue that is plaguing the whole world. People are raising children within these challenging times. There's so much that our children are facing. There's so much challenge that parents are facing to raise good, hard-working, honest, God-fearing, happy individuals, to bring them to, you know, raise children that are a positive contributor to their society. There's a lot of challenges, and that is the issue that is very dear to all of us, dear to parents, dear to children, dear to our community, dear to our society. We are trying to discuss this issue because children are the future. If we get it right with our children, then our future is bright. If we get it wrong, then the future is bleak. We need to be able to raise our children with traditional values. Many people, our callers have said it, our younger guests here have said it, that we need to be able to find harmony between the cultures, our traditional culture, which is our traditional values, with the culture, the value of where the children are being raised. We need to find harmony in order to bring up this successful, hardworking, productive individuals into society, in order to have a secure future for our society, for our children. And I just want to say hello to those of you who've joined us just now. Anthony, hi Byron, Pepple, hi Prince, hi Alumona, hi James, hi for joining. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate you joining us as we discuss the issue that affect our raising our children with traditional values in these challenging times. Issue, for example, gang violence, issue like drugs, issues like teenage pregnancies, and so on and so forth, peer pressure, social media. There's just so many issues that our children are facing, or that parents are facing, trying to bring up really hardworking, happy individuals in the society. Children are our future. We want to get it right. We might not be able to get it 100% right, but we want to get it right because we want to have happy children that becomes happy adults, productive children that becomes productive adults, children who are confident in themselves, who are confident in their society, who are confident in their communities, children who are role models for other children that are following behind, children who will go on to be the leaders of tomorrow. We want to be able to raise our children who respect their culture, who respects themselves, and that is what we're discussing here, how to bring up our children with traditional values in modern day Britain, in modern day all over the world, because what it is that the convergence of technology has made it that the world is now very small. The world is closing in. Regardless of where you find yourself in this world, the world is becoming so small because of technology. And we are trying to, shed light into these challenges by discussing it. We want to be discussing the issues that affect our community. There are so many issues that affect our community and affect the productivity of our community. For example, family breakdown. You could be a single parent trying to raise your children. You're working and you're raising children. You don't even have time. You don't even see your children because you're forever running around trying to provide for those children. You could be a family that is going through breakup and so on and so forth, and that is affecting the children. You could be a child. There are also children of the state, children that are raising themselves because they've been fostered or so on and so forth. They've been taken away by social services. So there is so much challenges out there that faces our children, and that is what we're trying to discuss. That's what we're trying to deal with in order to have a productive, successful, childhood. We want to have happy children, happy society, productive society. What do you say, Holly?
Yes, I agree. In the goal of wanting to raise your children to be happy and to have the best life possible. Definitely a lot of parents sacrifice a lot to come here and to raise their children here. But I think as you're talking about the issues that we are facing here, I think it's important to remember as well that, okay, maybe a lot of traditional parents are like, okay, that these same issues are, number one, happening all around the world. No matter what country you're coming from or going to, these issues are always happening. And a lot of parents from, let's say, Africa, maybe, I don't know if there's gang violence, just a different type of gang violence. And
different, yeah.
But they left that to come here, and they maybe have this idea that they escaped that so their children wouldn't have to, so their children don't have to face it. And when they come here and they raise their children here, the same issues are happening here, which they want their children to avoid. But I think it's, number one, you can't avoid it. No matter where you are, no matter what country you live in, these issues are worldwide, and they're going to have to face them and go through that themselves. And so trying to shelter your children so that they don't is kind of impossible. I feel maybe a lot of African parents try to do that and try to shelter them so that they don't go through certain things. But it's important that, in my opinion, that children make their own mistakes. It's important that they are able to experience it and be able to choose in different scenarios right from wrong, and be able to, that's kind of where their upbringing comes in, and how they decide to make different choices in their life, whether they decide to go down, I don't know, the gang violence path or not. It's up to them and how they adopted their upbringing, but it's important that they have that choice and they have the opportunity to make choices. And in that sense, it's important that the parents do instill values that help them make the right decisions. And a lot of those values they are the traditional values that they've adopted from their home countries. A lot of those, if their children do adopt them, they will help them stay away from the dangers in the society. But it is up to that, and it's up to the individual, that person's personality, what they want for themselves, and just them in general. You know, parents can only do so much, but it's up to the child's conviction and what they want for themselves.
Absolutely. Well, you've heard it. You heard it from a young person here, Holly, who's come, who joined us today as a guest to share light into her own experience as a child who's been brought up, who's been raised or been raised with traditional value in modern day Britain. You've heard her experience. If you're a parent out there who's struggling, who's trying to raise your child, or you're a child going through it, or you're or you know somebody who's going through it, what we are trying to do is to be a community and try to shed light to this and to help one another so that our future is set. I just want to say thank you to all of you who has joined us today. Without you, there is no us, and without you, we won't be here. So yes, thank you very, very much for joining us. Thank you for liking. Thank you for sharing. And I'm also saying, please like and share and comment, and keep on discussing this. I would urge you to keep discussing this among your friends, among your colleagues, among your in your communities, in your home. Keep on discussing this, because the more we discuss it, the better it is for us. The more we can find common ground and common solutions on how to raise our children, and so that we end up having beautiful, happy, hardworking individuals. We love you very, very much. We thank you for joining us. Please share, like, comment, and yeah, what do I say? And I want to use this opportunity to say thank you, Holly. Thank you very much for coming, Holly.
Thank you for having me.
Holly is not very comfortable coming on. She's not a TV person. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but she's a very, very strong individual. But I'm very, very grateful that you're able to come and join us today. And in fact, very grateful is an understatement. I thank you very, very much for for being able to sit here with me and share with me your experience and share with me your thoughts. I thank you. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you.
It's an important topic that needs to be talked about, so I'm glad to be able to do my part.
Thank you very, very much. And I thank you all of you out there. And remember, do share, do comment, do love us, give us a thumb up. And if you have anything to say, if you've learned anything, please let us know. If you have anything, advice that you want to give to our children or our parents, please let us know. And for those of you who work with children out there who are watching, please do also share with us your comment, your advice, and so on and so forth, because in the coming weeks and months we will be also we carry on discussing this issue, because this is an issue that is very dear to our heart, is dear to the heart of our community, is dear to the heart of our society. We will be bringing you, hopefully in the coming weeks, bring you people who work with children, people who can give us perhaps legal advice on how we can go about doing some of the things, because some of the issue that has been raised in the past week that we're discussing this is the legal challenges as well, the societal challenges, the laws that help kind of tie our hands when we're trying to raise our children. So we'll be bringing you perhaps people who work within the laws, who can shed light on how we can go about raising children within the law and doing it right. We will also bring you people who work with children, perhaps mentors who are mentoring children who are children of the states. We will bring you let them come and share their experience, their advice, and so on and so forth. Bring you people who perhaps who are counselors to children who are having difficulties because of challenges within the society, and so on and so forth. So within the coming months, we will be bringing different guests to come and shed light on this issue. And just to say, issues like I did mention this last week, how coming from my profession, because as you all know, I work in the health profession. How far do you have to be pushed to the point of no return, where you consider harming yourself, in a relationship, as a child, or so on and so forth, because these are issues these are things that I have noticed, or issues that people are sending me that are happening in our community, things they want me to discuss from texts and messages that I'm receiving. These are issues that we will bring in with our children, with our communities, with our families, family breakup and so on and so forth, breakdown and so on and so forth. So as we move along, we will be bringing you a lot of issues that are dear to our community, dear to our heart, issues that are plaguing us. Because society is what makes, home is what makes a community, right? And a community makes a society. And if we can't get it right in our home, then we can't get it right in our community. And then we can't get it right in the society. So we want to be tackling issues that affect the home. Anything that is challenging the home, that will stop the home from functioning properly, that affect the community, that then affect the society. We will be discussing those issues, and there is a lot of them that I've gotten hold of. People have texted or messaged me. We'll be discussing them in the coming months. So once again, we have run out of time, and I thank you all. Thank you, Matthew, for the phone cut off. Thank you, Matthew, for calling in. We do appreciate your contribution. Thank Holly one more time for joining us. We appreciate you, and thank to all of you who has tuned in to watch us. I appreciate every one of you. Now, just help us by sharing the program so that all the people out there can get to watch it and get to comment and tune in. Please don't forget, every Monday 2 p.m. we come to you discussing issues that affect our community, that affect us raising children with traditional values, that affect our future. We come to you with that. These are issues that are dear to our hearts. So don't forget to tune in with us every Monday here on Solap TV. You can follow us on Facebook. You can follow us, listen to us on TuneIn, and watch us also live on YouTube on Solap TV. Thank you once again for watching. Please don't forget to comment. Don't forget to subscribe as well. I haven't said that before. Let me say that now. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. But on Facebook, just comment, like, and share. If you like what we're doing. Because to be honest, children are the future. They are all our future. You may have children of your own. You may be raising children. You may be a child. It falls on all of us. It falls on the whole society, on the whole community. So please do share, because the more you share, the more people will be discussing about these issues. The more you share and like, the more you comment, the more other people will get involved in our discussion and move it forward, because we want to do something about it. We want to create an environment where our children feel safe to also come and contribute, just like Holly has contributed. And once again, we've run out of time. Thank you very much. This is your girl, SP Life, here at SP Life Show, discussing an issue that is dear to our heart. Thank you for watching. And I think this calls for a dance. Dancing for joy? Yeah. Can we dance out with joy? Dance for joy. Yeah, let's dance out slowly with joy. Dance for joy. Yeah. Dance for joy. Dance for joy. Hmm? All right. Nigerian song, yeah, absolutely. So as we're dancing you out, we're dancing for joy. This is a challenge that I'm raising to all of you, our viewers and my friends on Facebook and everybody. We want to be dancing for joy, because let me tell you something. We need to be happy. In order to raise children, we need to be happy ourselves. So let's dance for joy with you, in your families, in your friends, in your small clique, by yourself. Do a few seconds dance for joy video and upload it to Facebook. Let's see you dance for joy. We want to dance for joy because we want a happy society. Once again, thank you very much for tuning in. Mwah. Love you.
Bye.
One big hug. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay.